Welcome to the DYSON'S effect.
A show about everyday situations, issues, and topics we talk about and give our opinions.
We may even listen to yours.
We are your hosts, Johnny
and Teresa,
also known as Mr. and Mrs. Dyson.
We're back. This is Johnny.
And this is Teresa.
And this is another episode of the
DYSON'S effect.
So, show everybody your pretty smile. She's feeling beautiful today, y'all. Look at the face. Look at the smile that she's not giving. So, you had a pop-up shop. How did that go for you?
It was alright. It's okay.
It was okay? Mm-hmm. You meet a lot of interesting people?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people there. I don't know if I've met anyone, but I mean, I have business cards of other businesses that was there.
Technically, was this your first pop-up shop?
Mm-hmm.
You think you'll do more after this?
I don't know. I would have to research the people that is doing it to make sure it's not a waste of time.
Interesting. Was it good? Is it good for networking?
I mean, yeah, it's good to have your name out there.
Networking?
It's cool. Mm-hmm.
To meet different people or different businesses that where they can pull you into different things that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You did have the best display as far as other people have. One of the best ones. A lot of people just brought a table, had their stuff out, which is nothing wrong with it, but you had a whole display out, got your stuff all. You had an employee that was working for you and everything. Didn't pay your employee much. Didn't give me no lunch break. I was about to call the Department of Labor on you because you was working me too hard. You didn't let me get no water. None of that stuff. You was working me to death. Had me bringing in stuff. Had me hauling in this. I was sweating. Didn't offer me no food. None of that.
Whatever.
I was about to call the Department of Labor on you for working me too hard. And I don't think you was paying me minimum wage neither. Oh, see. You can't have that. So, we got an interesting topic that we seen in a Facebook group. Now, for this one, I'm not sure if it's real, but it is very, 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 very elaborate. Some details in there. This is something that a couple is going through. I don't know. You want to read it to them? What
yeah.
is it? Does it have a title? Is it a title? Let me see. Is it a title? No, it's not a title.
It just says, "My husband is mourning his dead mistress."
So that's kind of the title. So, my husband is mourning his dead mistress. That's all.
3 months ago, the woman who he was having an affair with, my husband, died suddenly from an accident. I found out about the affair only 2 days after her funeral. I thought she was simply a coworker, and I was wondering why my husband was so disturbed and emotional. He quit his job saying it was too traumatic to go to work. She was in the early weeks of pregnancy when she died, and my husband doesn't know whether he or her husband was the father. So, on top of everything, he's also grieving for a baby, which may or may not have been his. I find it extremely difficult to be emotionally supportive when he wakes up at 3 a.m. crying and trembling. Yet I don't have the heart to yell at him like I want to. He says she's dead, so there's no reason for me to feel jealous or threatened. And Ask for my understanding as he grieves. We've barely talked these last weeks because I don't know how to respond to my husband when he cries and says he misses her and wishes she was here. Then also how much he loves me and that he never intended to leave me. I asked him to visit a marriage therapist together, and he said he's not ready to work on our marriage and thinks he needs to see a grief therapist instead. Do I need to give him time to mourn the loss of the mistress, or should I demand he focus on our marriage?
Ugh. This stinks. This is rough.
Yeah, somebody said, I wish a motherfucker would cry for another woman on my present. No, she need to go to counseling alone to gain her self-respect, some digging, some self-respect, and some dignity.
That's the comment you mean, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is rough. Now, let's do this bit by bit. Oh, this is rough. This is rough. Gosh. First off, what do you think about it so far?
I don't feel sorry for you. You were cheating. So why am I letting you grieve in peace? Whether she gone or not, you was cheating and you would do it again. Obviously, because this is something you do. And then who's to say that wasn't your baby? So that's two whammies. If she was sleeping with him more than she was sleeping with her own husband, 9 times out of 10 it was his baby. So, no, I don't feel sorry for you. I ain't letting you grieve. You can grieve alone.
You jump to him. What do you think about her?
She's slow. Obviously, something wrong with her.
She has to be slow.
Yeah.
What in your mind thinks that?
Because why are you questioning? Should you let him grieve a mistress? What in your mind is telling you that is okay? What in your mind is saying have compassion for someone that's been cheating on you and possibly had a baby on the way? What in your mind is saying this was okay for him to quit his job because he just felt like he couldn't face the job because she's no longer there? Obviously, he had deep feelings for her, more than what he's saying. Just because he's telling you he wasn't going to leave you, it don't sound like he was going to leave her.
Well, to quote one of the things that you said before is depending on the relationship, cheating is not an end result of.
For some people, yes.
For some people, but we're talking about you.
It is. It is for me. Yeah, I voiced that several times.
Right. So I'm saying you said that cheating might not be the end result. It could be a multiple of things. That also cheating is it. That is not what you said.
Yeah, that is. You could probably go back and play.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to look that up. You said it could be cheating. You could look over cheating depending on what it is. So
I didn't say that. I know I didn't say that.
Well, this is a great episode already starting off, y'all. This is beautiful. This is where we agree to disagree at. And for the people that are listening, try to see if you can go back to previous episodes and see if I am wrong, because it is a great opportunity and chance that I can be wrong. Or if
I know you're wrong.
See how she just jumped to me that I'm wrong? Then see if she is wrong when she has said that cheating may not be the only thing. Now, and this is just one example. This is not. Anyway, so now from my wife, this time, cheating is a deal breaker.
No, it was been all the time.
As I said before, I'm not sure if you heard me, honey. This is where we agree to disagree at. Okay? All right. This is where we agree to disagree at. So, since cheating is a deal breaker, this is an opportunity for us to look at this in pieces. So, she said her husband is mourning his mistress' death. So,
that she didn't find out about until 2 days after the funeral.
And let's say my husband. Okay,
and it sounds like she was married as well.
So both of them was married and they used to work together. Mm-hmm. And both of them married, they used to work together. And it sounds like a little bit is missing, of course, because it's only a paragraph. My husband is mourning his dead mistress. 3 months ago, the woman who was having an affair with my husband died suddenly from an accident. I found out about the affair only 2 days after her funeral. So, I'm guessing he didn't go to the funeral, which is understandably so. Now,
I'm guessing he did go to the funeral.
He did?
I'm guessing he went to the funeral.
Why would...
I mean, he probably went as a co-worker, like the rest of the co-workers.
How do you assume that?
Because he's taking it so hard. I'm sure he went to the funeral.
I understand, but I'm just saying, how do you assume that? Like, what makes you come to that?
Because it sounds like the relationship they were really close. And if she said he was just so emotional and distraught or whatever over it, I'm sure he went.
Well, maybe he did or maybe he didn't. There's nothing indicated that he went to the funeral. I mean, you could be real distraught and not went, because that can implicate that, he never seen her before she was buried, and sometimes people can take it off from that many different ways. I'm not sure if, because I don't know, it's too hard to say if he really went to the funeral, because if he was working or 2 days after the funeral, or maybe she found out because he did go to the funeral and she's like, hey, what's going on? So I don't know. Just because of his actions doesn't implicate a conclusion if he actually went to a funeral. I thought she was simply a co-worker, and I was wondering why my husband was so disturbed and emotional. He quit a job saying it was too traumatic to go to work. Now, the thing that is interesting, he was cheating. Looks like he had feelings for her.
Looks. He definitely did.
Well, I'm going to go a different angle on this. This is another opportunity for us to agree to disagree. It looks like he has feelings for her, but it could be some other issues in here, which people may not be picking up on. And this is why I don't go for the easy pickings of the easy apples all the time. So it looks like he could have feelings for her. Now, the interesting thing is that, as I say, the hardest thing we can do is take accountability for certain situations. Now, accountability in this situation is, what was he doing cheating, right? Although he shouldn't have been cheating, but from other couples, married couples, that I've heard spoken on this, from their perspective, and from other people that I spoke with, when they had a falling out and there was either one person cheating, even though the cheating is wrong, both of them take responsibility and something was wrong in the relationship. So, what I've heard in relationships is that, yeah, we both was wrong and we had our problems in this situation based on everything that was going on. So, what led him to cheat? That's one. For two, is it something, it was just him that he cheated on his own without his wife having any wrongdoing or any playing into the situation? And it's just based on hearing other couples speak about it. Is it both of them was wrong in subject matter that drug on for a while? We spoke about it on this podcast before, that before we got married, of course, but when we was arguing, it was a point in time that we argued all the time, and there was a lot of cases she was wrong, a lot of cases I was wrong. It was just in the midst of being wrong all the time, and there was a lot of fights that we was having, a lot of arguments and a lot of stuff. And I think is the interesting thing is, what was the things that led up to him cheating? Now, a second thing that's not talking about was, how long was the cheating? Was this like 6 months? Was this like 2 years? Because it doesn't say how long they was married, do they? So, to me, that matters a little bit. It matters a little bit on the area that I'm going to go in. So, could you read some of the comments?
Someone put, I am the most mature person ever, but this would have me heated. The audacity to commit adultery and add insult to injury, with her unprotected, and expect me to be sympathetic to your grief. No, sir. Go sit in the car. Go sit and cry in the car and figure out your living arrangements. Some stuff is too much to come back from. Get you some counseling, because you don't sound like you're okay. Must be a terrible wife, because I would have been done with this marriage ASAP. I also know my worth.
A lot of people are telling the wife should leave him.
If it's real, I feel sorry for her. She needs to see a therapist or something. Your self-esteem must be in the toilet if you had to ask this question. If you can't love yourself more than that, I'm praying God help you to love you first. You need to get on your knees and pray to God for wisdom, guidance, and strength.
Now, the interesting thing is that what we talked about before on this is that women and men are different when something happens to them in a relationship, especially when it comes to cheating or if someone wants to leave them. One of the things that women do, and I heard this from women a lot, is they ask, what is wrong with me that he cheated on me? And right, wrong, and indifferent, that's very common. And as she spoke about that, that's one of the things that challenges self-worth, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, as she puts it. So I guess women talk to other women in that situation to guide them, because women will do that. And based on my experience, a lot of women do that. A lot of women challenge, like, what's wrong with me? Why he cheat on me? Am I or go through that? Am I good enough? What, have you heard that before?
Yeah. So somebody put, he would have been out the house or waiting to be served divorce papers. The audacity of him to neglect his family for a mistress and expect his wife to have compassion for him. Ain't no man comment on this.
Ain't no man comment. Try to remember where your spot is at so you can go back to your spot, but because I want you to read some more though.
I am a therapist and I wouldn't touch this case. You are not a priority, never have been and never will. Divorce him.
A therapist said that? That's not a good therapist.
I'm trying to find men.
Because a therapist is supposed to be a therapist is supposed to be neutral in a situation. A therapist is not supposed to tell you to divorce someone without hearing all the information.
Oh, Anthony, what marriage? He's already gone.
Interesting.
Okay, here go another one.
Okay.
Wait, maybe. No, I think that's the woman.
It looked like it started off. It started off funny.
Is this it?
No, man. It looked like this sparked the nerve in women.
Okay. You are absolutely justified if you are angry and hurt, but it sounds like healing is going to take some time, if at all, because of circumstances. If you want to save your marriage, you will likely need to be patient while he goes through the grieving process before you can address all of your very justified feelings about this. Doing all this emotional turmoil, You may also want to consider whether this is the man you want to continue to be married to, or whether you should leave him or move on. Only you can decide whether this man will give you the love and respect you deserve, and also whether you will be able to trust him in the future.
See how a man came.
Somebody said, "You're kidding me, right?"
This comment. That's rough. Now, before you go into that, let me see if I can break a little bit more down this. Yada. I thought she was simply a co-worker, and I was wondering why my husband was so disturbed and emotional. He quit his job saying it was too traumatic to go to work. She was in the early weeks of pregnancy when she died, and my husband doesn't know whether he or her husband was the father. Now, that's a lot if he was sleeping with Annis. Now, I'm going to guess and says the husband doesn't know about this. So if he was to go to the funeral, this would be a bit much if he went to the funeral. Like, it's kind of like I said, the audacity of this situation.
But what I'm saying is, if he did go, he probably showed up with other coworkers if they were cool with her, or he was just there as a coworker. If his wife knew about her as a coworker, I'm sure her husband knew about him as being just a coworker.
But see, this is the thing, though. I'm not sure. I'm not sure either way. But see, from my opinion and based on the experiences in the past, when someone is sleeping with someone and they pass and they're married, usually women go do that. Like the woman that was messing with a married man and somehow he ended up dying, usually the mistresses will go to the funeral. Usually. In the past, now and then, when a dude was messing with a girl and she was married, dudes usually don't do that. Based on my experience. I can be wrong, of course. Dudes usually don't go to funerals or they don't like to be outed. Like, women have more of an audacity that they've been sleeping with this man than a man does. Like, men will do this to a degree behind closed doors with or I'll say this, everybody else will know before that person will know. That's speaking of as of the husband. In women cases, when a woman is cheating with a married man, sometimes that woman will tell everybody. Like, and eventually it will come out, and they'll be like, yeah, like I know he was sleeping with her. It came like it's. What was I can't think of the football player that his father stayed right down the street and had a whole nother family, and the mama knew, and it's just crazy. So that's why I think so. I don't think men don't usually do that based on their experience, even though it's possible.
Somebody said, "Tell him I said God don't like ugly," and he was doing wrong. If he knew he was married, she was doing wrong too. So that's why they are not together. I'm sorry, I don't sympathize with husbands to do crap like that. And now he's mourning this dead woman. He needs to go. I am worth more than sitting around watching a man that's supposed to be my husband cry over a woman he was messing around with. Are you serious? And you asking if you should demand your husband attention from thinking about his dead girlfriend? Girl, please. You don't want much if you want him. In his heart, he has already left you in his marriage. He's just there as time passes. And trust and believe me, it will be somebody else. Respect yourself because he doesn't. My opinion, don't mean to be harsh, but you need to hear the truth.
A woman, of course.
Yeah, but that's true. I agree with everything.
I don't agree with that.
Every line she said.
Why you agree with that?
Because, first of all, who's to say that this mistress is the first person? This is the first person you've just found out about, obviously, because she died and he took it hard.
Interesting.
For two, he was going to keep messing with her until she died. For three, he could be saying he wasn't going to leave you. Obviously, he ain't going to tell you he was going to leave you, because right now he needs you. He needs you to mourn. Not even that, he has just quit his job, so he don't have any income and probably don't have anywhere to go if he did want to leave. So obviously he's going to play that I was never going to leave you role. And like she said, obviously he has left his marriage a long time ago if this is somebody that he has been sleeping with. Like that, that's why I would want to know how long he's been with this mistress. Long enough to get her pregnant. I mean, it could have just been a couple months or whatever, but long enough to say you just gonna be sleeping with her without a rubber on for a possibility of a baby to be yours. So all that I wasn't gonna leave you crap, that's bull crap. How am I supposed to believe that when you've been sleeping with her with no rubber on, not caring what she may be carrying because she has a husband, or not even thinking, okay, if she cheating on her husband with you, who else could she possibly be cheating on her husband with? You may not have been the only guy she was sleeping with. So yeah, no, that I wasn't gonna leave you crap. That's what they probably all say when they get caught with the mistress.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I want to wait to comment on this. Very, 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 very interesting. So on top of everything, he's also grieving for a baby, which may or may not have been his. I find it extremely difficult to be emotionally supportive when he wakes up at 3 in the morning crying and trembling, yet I don't have the heart to yell at him like I want to.
Just sound like she might be
Go ahead.
Caucasian.
Why? That sounds like something a Caucasian woman would do.
They're very sensitive. I think black. I don't know. I'm just saying. Yeah, that's probably. I don't know what she is.
That's interesting. That's a Amanda doing that, maybe, or Abigail, Becky.
Ain't no way I would even have no sympathy for what he's going through. Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
Mm-mm.
You're strong on that. I feel the strongness on you on that.
You should.
Why should I feel it?
I'm just saying. I just don't. I wouldn't. You wouldn't even probably be in my house. First of all, why are you quitting your job? That's like, why are you quitting your job? Is it that traumatic? Obviously, you feel more for her than what you are saying to me. If this job is just so gonna be so hard for you to do now because she's not there. You definitely was in love with this woman. It wasn't just a liking. It had to be some love. You don't like anybody that much to the point to where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't never work there anymore because she's not there or he's not there and I'm mourning them.
No.
You love that person.
You love the draws.
You don't want to go and because y'all probably was having lunch together and all kind of stuff going on.
It was back at the crib at
and I'm sure other people in the office, you know when somebody's messing around.
Oh yeah. And come to find out, I want to have something funny. My last job I had when I was at ADS years ago. One of my friends' daughter was working there, and I would just see her and talk, and she was like, "Yeah, them two messing around." I was like, "Who? Them?" I'm like, "They not messing around. She married." She's like, "What that mean?" Mm-hmm. I'm like, "That don't even." Now they sat close together. I think the woman sat behind him. It didn't. I don't think they was messing around, but she was like, "Yeah, they messing around." I'm like, "How? Like, how they?" I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. And there was another case when there's like 3 other ones like in our department, and come to find out, one of them was messing around with him, but I don't know who be messing around. Like, I don't really be looking that much into into it. And sometimes when you around people so much, especially like, let's just say hypothetically, for overtime, you working overtime, you working 10, 12 or more hours in one day, you spending more time with these people than your family. And sometimes, hey, conversations get deep. These people help you work out situations or look at things or give you advice and all that stuff. So sometimes it's just be talking, and I don't never really see them like go to lunch together, nothing like that. Like these people just like having regular lunch in the break room with everybody else. But hey, what do I know? So she said he wakes up emotionally. See, this is an indicator for me. For me, it is. He wakes up emotionally crying and trembling at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's an indicator for me. I'm gonna hold that one. That's one indicator. 2, he quit his
Indicator what?
I'll wait. I'll give it to you in a minute. Now another part she said is he says she's dead, so there's no reason for me to feel jealous or threatened, and asks for my understanding as he grieves. We barely talked these last weeks because I don't know how to respond to my husband when he cries and says he misses her and wishes she were here. Then also how much he loves me and that he never intended to leave me. I'm not sure about the intention of leaving. I'm gonna hope. Well, okay. That he never intended to leave her. I asked him to visit a marriage therapist together, and he said he's not ready to work on our marriage and thinks he needs to see a grief therapist instead. Do I need to give him time to mourn the loss of his mistress, or should I demand he focus on our marriage? Okay. As far as a marriage therapist, just like a person that was in the comments, there was a marriage therapist. Usually a marriage therapist doesn't side with anyone in most cases, or a good one, and they usually don't recommend you leaving anyone. Basically what counselors do to a degree is they guide you in certain situations and they allow you to make those decisions. So a marriage counselor or marriage therapist should guide you in this situation. A marriage therapist shouldn't tell you, girl, you should leave. Hey, this relationship is over with, or not, even if it's not this situation. In general, a marriage therapist shouldn't tell you to leave anyone. That's not a good marriage therapist. Even from the one from the comments, that's not a good one. That's not what they should be telling anyone to do. If it is, I disagree with that person and their practice. And that's just my opinion. There's plenty of them out there. I don't believe that no marriage therapist be telling anyone things of that nature. A telltale sign in this is that she wants the marriage to work. Now, she wants the marriage to work. I'm interested on to how long they've been married. Usually when people are married for a long time, cheating is not a big deal from many different other women that I've heard from. Cheating is not a deal breaker. I was listening to her interview not too long ago, and a woman said that if a guy cheated on her, it depends on if it was a relationship or if it was a one-night stand or if it was like, a 1 month thing or something like that. She said it all depends because I think she said they was married for 20 something years. So she said cheating is not a deal breaker, and it depends on where we are in our relationship. Now, that's why I think that depends. If they are in their 20s and he cheated, it tells a lot of signs about him as a man. If they're in their 30s, it tells a lot of signs about him as a man, and her why she wants to hold on. I mean, do you agree with that? Like, it does matter on the age
I guess
group.
it depends. It sounds like it matters to her, I guess, if they've been in it a long time, but I don't really. think it matters. Yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't tolerate looking at you every day crying over another woman. Like that's just that don't no. That doesn't sit right with me. Obviously, yes, you can't console them because how can you console somebody that's mourning
There.
another woman? Yeah, like
There,
yeah.
husband.
So yeah, I couldn't. I think
There,
I think
honey.
he would. I would have to leave, or he would have
Oh,
to go
shucks.
somewhere until he figure it out. Because ain't no way I want to look at you crying every day over another woman that you were cheating with.
There, husband.
So maybe I think she has a lot of low self-esteem things going on with her to even be questioning should she allow him to grieve and opposed to working on their marriage. He already said that he don't want to work on the marriage. He needs to grieve first. So he's gave you his answer. So I don't know why you are looking to see what you should do when he already told you what he's gonna do. So it don't matter. Obviously, someone is gonna say go see a counselor, a marriage counselor, if that's what you want. But he's already voiced his opinion that he's not doing that. So, what other answers did you need?
And unknowingly not knowing her, to speak generally, the average person, let alone a woman, has low self-esteem. The average person, let alone a woman, has low self-esteem. I wonder if it's her showing up in this marriage. That's just what I think. I think the average person, I wonder if it's just hers because this is the way it's showing up at. She asked him to visit a marriage therapist as far as this is something that she could work on. One of the things that I've seen in the past, and I question and I wonder about it, is that sometimes people want to see a marriage counselor / therapist because they want to help them in their relationship, to guide them on some things and some tactics that they can use to be together, but also they want help trying to get their spouse to understand what they really want to say, for one, and for two, they don't know how to tell their spouse something that they really want to say, like they never really said it before. And that's one small thing that I think is a problem in a relationship, is that both people in a relationship are, in most cases, are not being 100% honest on saying whatever it is they need to say, and change. Sometimes what we can do is we can change the setting on how we're saying it and delivering the message. While he's in this grieving mode, he may not hear marriage counseling now, and so this is a thing that I think about him. This is a little bit of my spiel, of my opinion on it. For him, it's a reason why he cheated, but I'm not sure what is the reason why he cheated. This is not enough information, but for the sake of it, I think that he has a problem with depression or grievances. Now, as I stated before, as far as our family goes, as far as my immediate family, as far as my siblings, my brothers, my sisters, our father passed. Being our father passed, we deal with death differently. This possibly could be an indicator on how this person deals with death. So, how this person deals with death, people grieve differently. And this also could be because they have grievance counselors and grievance coaches too. There's not as much grieving counselors as much. There's more so grieving coaches of what I've seen, but I can be wrong. And sometimes people, if you don't deal with death well, the littlest death can bring you down a bad rabbit hole because you don't know how to deal with those emotions. It could be a person you just met in 2 months. It could be a person you just met in 3 months. Another indicator sometimes of those things is when, like, a person that's a bad addict and person, let's say an alcoholic or a drug addict or something of the sort, if they have had a traumatic experience, the next new traumatic experience will lead them to drugs. Same thing in this situation. If a person doesn't deal with grievance well because of something traumatic, the next traumatic thing would lead them to, oh God, get into a depression mode. That's just my indicator on it. I don't think he deals with grievance well, and I'm not sure if, and it's like a double-edged sword, because it's a woman and possibly a child in this situation, because she didn't say that they have any kids together. From my experience on some men that want children, they hold that in for like 20 something years. We got a friend, right, that remembered an abortion his girlfriend had 20 something years ago. He brought it up. Remember I told you about that? He brought it up that if she would have never had that abortion, my child would have been 20 something years old by now. And I was like, oh, that still stings. So maybe he always wanted a child, and this is just another thing up against him. It's an indicator for me. Those are small indicators, small nuances that there's a lot going on with him as a man, as a person, you know. Things that he are as a what type of morals and ethics that he has. Is he a cheater, or this is one time that he cheated? That's a question.
Get your shit. Move.
Is he a cheater? This is one, because sometimes, what is the guy that we did a topic on? The Derek Jackson dude, right? Now, he supposedly was messing with a couple different women, right? Supposedly, allegedly, right? 2 or 3 women. Now, one could make the argument is that looks bad because the persona that he portrayed, and these books that he had. But if he was sleeping with all these women, he could have got one of them pregnant, right? Does that make any of this? Does that make it a little bit different, or is that almost the same?
She shouldn't have stayed either. So
She should have stayed either.
There was too many women for him.
Too many?
Yeah. It just didn't happen once with him. There was multiple women, and they kept coming out. So it's just the media probably stopped covering it, so now it's died down. But
I think that is more so who he is as a person, more so who he is as a man, on things that he's dealing with, as why he cheated for one, and how well does he deal with death. You know, it's a double entendre about the things that he's going through, and where do he view his marriage in this situation? Where do he view his marriage?
pack your stuff. Get up out of there. Because guess what's going to happen next?
What?
Oh, I was mourning and you wasn't here for me. That's why he's now cheating with so-and-so. Because you wasn't there for him. You wasn't emotionally available for him while he was mourning a whole nother lady. So the cycle continues to go on and on and on.
See, I can't say that because it depends on what age he is.
No, what that mean?
Because men are different like that. Men are different. Like I'll say this. You can't judge someone based on their one bad act. If someone did something wrong in their 30s, it might have been something that they learned from and grew from. You know, or in their 40s, like maybe this is that one time that they messed up. So I don't think people should be judged by one bad act. Because if that's the case, I mean, that's things that I've done in the past. I'm 18, 19, 20. That's what I'm saying. Like, is this a young married couple? Like, where are they in their relationship? That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, is this something that he can learn from, grow from, and be a man from? Or is this something, like you said, he possibly could cheat again? you're more likely to cheat again if you don't see you did anything wrong and you're young, or you're not mature enough from the situation. You mature with age and experiences. Like if he didn't have a lot. Good example. Got one for you. I got a good friend, went to college with. Cheated on his wife at the time. They've been together for a while. Cheated on his wife. They broke. Cheated on a wife with a woman. I think she stayed. I think he cheated again, and that's when she left. 10 years later, 15 years later, they've been friends. I guess they've been messing around, and he proposed, and they got married again. Right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? No. They live not too far from us, but not in this state. Okay, I'll tell you in a minute. But he did that when he was younger. He was young. He haven't had a lot. He didn't have a lot of experiences with women. She was only probably the third or fourth girlfriend he ever had. Maybe fourth or fifth girlfriend he ever had. Turned wife. He didn't have a lot of experiences, but he had to mature from that. So being that he had to mature from that, went through different life experiences, went through different changes, he proposed and they married now. He grew from that. He grew from this. So can a person say, oh, he's always going to cheat on her? He's going to cheat on her again. But that was 15 years ago? 10 years ago? Yeah, 10? Probably 12 years ago? Going on 15 years ago. So should he be judged by that bad act?
Some people probably still judge him by it.
That's my point, though. I don't think he should be judged by that bad act years ago, because he can recover from that. He can grow up from that.
But this person is already married, so it's not like they were single and this happened and
right.
He's cheating in his marriage.
Which is the same situation that I'm giving. He was married too and he cheated.
Yeah, I know he's talking
about. I'm going to. I'll tell you. I'm going to put it right here so you can see it. Right? And they're married. They're happy now, right? Going on cruises, everything. They're happy. Have a child together and everything. But that's the point I'm making. He shouldn't be judged by that bad act. Right? And the beautiful thing about this, and I'm going to end on this note. The beautiful thing about this situation is all of the women, I'll say all, but as far as the comments goes in this situation, and what my beautiful, lovely wife did, she threw herself in this situation. When a man makes a comment, they comment about the situation about that man. What women do, they attach their emotion to it without looking outside of the situation, without looking outside of what's going on, and attach them. Oh, man couldn't do me like that. Oh, what you need to do is this and that, because something must be wrong with you and this and that. See, that's what's the trouble sometimes on making a logical decision.
If it was on the other foot, he would leave her. So, leave him.
See how she missed my point?
Mm-hmm. Leave him.
Again, she missed my point.
Leave him,
girl. My point is looking logically at the situation of all the parameters of everything before making a judgment, because there are more indicators in this situation.
Nope.
Yeah. Don't look and roll your eyes. It's just right. It's more to it than that. That's all. There's more to it than that. So we're gonna end on that note. We got another show coming up. We changed the release dates. Now they're on Thursdays. So this is gonna come out on Thursday. Let us know if you like Thursdays or Tuesdays better. Look like from the analytics, Thursdays is a real good day as well for us. We got a lot of things coming up. Anybody want to get in contact with you? Your social media handles are.
I am his Mrs. Dyson.
And
my website is down, so I'm not giving that because you're gonna get an error.
And the social media handles is what I was speaking on. And
I am his Mrs. Dyson.
And no other social media handles you have. Miss Curry Flavors is not a social media handle.
That's down. So I mean,
the social media is down.
No,
that's what I said. The social media handle is Miss Curvy Flavors Boutique. That's the social media handles. The website is something separate, something that she's working on. Two separate things. Our website is different, so our email is thedysoneffect@hotmail.com. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is @thedyson'seffect. You can follow me on Your Benevolent Coach on Instagram, Facebook, and Benevolent Coach on Twitter. And as always, thank you for your time and thank you for listening. This is the Midnight Hour with your one and only. This is Johnny.
And this is Teresa.
And this is another episode of the Peace, Love, Blessings, Love and Light.